All right, perfect. There we go. Coast to coast, as always. We even have some international that drop in from Africa, Latin America, and Europe. So thank you all for taking the time to join us here today. We're super excited. And hey, 2.0 is off and underway. I know a lot of you guys are pumped up about that. New products, new this, new that. With so much going on, it's always good to come back to what's what. What are we doing? How are we doing it? And that's why we have Mr. Todd here so he can go over another amazing point. So if you have a pen, a paper, whatever it is, take some notes because here comes some golden nuggets. So Todd, say hello to everybody that's tuning in.
Hello to everybody that's tuning in.
Thanks, Todd.
I got to be a little smarty pants every once in a while. So good morning. Good morning. Pumped to be here, man. All right. Should we get a ripping?
All right.
Looks like we got a lot of people piling. Maybe we'll give another 30 seconds.
30 60 seconds.
That would be cool. You know what? Where are you guys coming in from, by the way, in the chat? Where are you coming in from? Katie, what's up? SD, Georgia, Florida, Italy. Oh, I like that. Newfoundland, Canada, Missouri, Columbus, South Carolina, Louisiana, South Africa, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Jamaica, South Africa, North Carolina, Michigan, South Dakota, Vienna, Austria, Nigeria, beautiful, beautiful. Burleson, Texas, Tucson. What's up, Shannon? Minneapolis. Tanya Bender, what's up? Had dinner with my friend the other night. You guys are neighbors. That's cool. All right, give us see the numbers piling up. I'm gonna just wait one more. There we go. Now that we hit that number, I'm gonna go. Okay, so all right, Mr. Baum, thank you so much. Appreciate it. I'm gonna go into some screen share. Actually, I can. Look at that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's already ready to go.
That is awesome. We'll do this. We'll go slideshow, play from the start. And you can see me good. I'm sure you can probably still hear me good. So let's go. All right. Well, good morning. Good morning. Actually, good afternoon and good evening for some of you that are coming in from South Africa, Nigeria, and other places around the world. Italy, truly a global Zoom this morning for me at 11, or what is it, 10 a.m. my time here in Oregon. Looking outside, it's still snowing here in Oregon, which is crazy. But yeah, I'm very excited this morning to be talking about how to utilize your upline leadership as an asset in your business. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. That's the focus of today's training, and I think it's a very important discussion to have. So that's the chat we're going to have this morning. And I do think really and this is a fact, the path to big money in this business is helping lots of people succeed. And what's interesting about our business model that's so different than, traditional business is the only way we make money is by helping others make money. Like I can't succeed unless you win. And it's so different than, corporate America, where if you have like some VP of sales, for example, and there's some superstar rising through the ranks, but there's only one VP of sales position. If I'm VP of sales, I'm probably trying to do everything I can to keep that guy or gal from, taking my position because they're so good. Here, it's like, come on, pass me. And so I think that's one of the most beautiful elements to this business model that's so attractive is we get paid only by really helping other people win. And I want to just kind of start off by, having like a proper perspective on this, upline, downline, or upline leader, sponsor, affiliate relationship. And I use words like, it's a partnership, it's a collaboration, it's a team sport, working together, and everybody shows up to do their part. And while we don't really have in the field, we don't have, we have obviously titles or ranks or whatever, but essentially the responsibilities that we as independent affiliates have are essentially the same regardless of where we are. Like as independent affiliates, we all do the same thing, which is also very different than in other places where you might have the director of HR and somebody who's in IT and somebody who's in marketing and somebody who's in whatever. We all do the same thing, but I think it's important to understand that we really want to create a situation in our organizations where it is a partnership, it's a collaboration, it's a team sport, it's us working together, and everybody is showing up to do their part. And I've divided the roles and responsibilities into two different places for today's training. The first one is the upline leaders, the upline leadership person or the sponsor. Okay, so it could be your sponsor, or it could be someone 2 or 3 levels upline. So I said upline leadership, right? So it could be your direct sponsor. That's the person that enrolled you, or it could be a person who's upline from them, or many levels upline from them, and what the general roles and responsibilities are. And then we're going to talk about affiliate roles and responsibilities. And again, we all have these responsibilities, but we play, the upline leadership position or the sponsor position. And then we also play the independent representative and independent affiliate position. So number one here, I think, is this whole idea of to lead by example and to set the pace for other people to follow. If we're playing this leadership role, this upline leadership role or the sponsor role, is to be that person that sets the pace for other people to follow. If I want my team recruiting more, they need to see me recruiting more. If I want my team to be showing up for events like this, they need to see me showing up for events like this. If I want my team to be, attentive and taking notes, they need to see me attentive and taking notes and not hanging out in the hallways or the back of the room. So this to me is like the epitome of just setting the proper example as an upline leader, is being that person that sets the pace for everybody else in the organization to follow. And because, we're talking about this upline or this leadership position, people are looking to you, and they're, and that's something you have to understand in this business. All eyeballs are on you. They're watching your every move. And a lot of times they're going to do more of what you do than what you say. Sometimes they'll do some of what you say, but more so they're going to replicate the things because they see us as, for example, a role model or someone to emulate. And so they're going to do the very things that we do as leaders. Number two is to be available for your team members. I think that's an important thing that we as leaders need to realize, that being available to our organization to provide whatever support and guidance or direction or assistance that they may need to greater understand this business and be more effective at this business. Some of us have had experience where, we've had someone who said that they were going to be there and then they weren't there. And I think the other thing is, and my team knows this, for example, I'm available essentially, I'm not going to say 24/7, but I got to tell you, I've woken up at 2:00 in the morning to do a 3-way call or a Zoom because that was the only time that person in this other country was available to do it. And that's just kind of the decision that I've made. Okay, I don't make it a regular habit of getting up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning for 3-way calls and all of that, but I definitely make myself available whenever possible for team members. And I think that's something we need to consider. I think this is another just great overall philosophy in life, is to consistently under promise and over deliver. If we make it that our mission, that we always under promise or go beyond what someone expects of us, going further than they would have expected us to do. I think that's just a winning philosophy in life. And I certainly think that's a winning philosophy when it comes to leadership. Number 4 is to be that person that can always be counted on without exception. As upline leaders with organizations, whether it's an organization of 2 or 20,000, you have to be perceived by those individuals as someone that can be counted on, because leadership is rooted in trust. Okay. Can I trust you? Can I count on you? Can I rely on you? And if your team was to ask that question of you or about you, how do they answer that question? I think you want them to 100% be like, oh yeah, there's no question, I can count on this person. They're there for me without exception. Now, of course, there's times where I may not be available or you may not be available, but generally speaking, you are a person that can be counted on. Number 5 is to keep your what together. I'm not going to use the word, but you can probably figure it out. And that's just an important thing as leaders, where we have to keep it together. And the truth is, in any business, there's cycles, there's ups, there's downs, there's good days, there's bad days, there things that happen, there's stuff, life delivers us stuff. And as leaders, we have to be in that position where, when I do trainings on this, for example, I use the analogy of being the dock that people can park their ships up to, right? So imagine a there's a bay and all these, and there's a dock and this marina where all the ships go out to sea to go fish, and then you move it and they're coming in at night, but the marina and the dock is not in the same place. That's kind of what I'm referring to. The team needs to know that like they've got a safe place, a safe harbor with you as the upline leader, the upline expert. Number 6, and this is a responsibility that we have, is to sometimes challenge people to become more and to do more, right? Sometimes we've got to, help people to push themselves past what are mostly self-imposed limitations. Sometimes people don't, a quick example, when I first, this is many years ago, but I was trained on how to do a presentation. I had never given a presentation before. And the guy looks at me, we had 75 people in the room, and we were taking a break between the presentation, the opportunity presentation, and then we had this little getting started, 4 steps getting started training. And he looks at me and he says, "Todd, catch." And he throws something at me, and it was the keys of the office. And he goes, "The office is yours. You're doing the 4 steps presentation." And he walked out the door, and there was like 75 people in there waiting for somebody to do the 4 steps presentation, and I had to be the guy. Now, would I have volunteered for it? Probably not. I probably would not have volunteered for it. But I was ready. And so part of our leadership role with our teams is knowing when people are ready to step up to a higher level of leadership, or to help volunteer them into maybe a more authoritative role, or more just a larger role in the organization. I was prepared, I was ready, but I would have never volunteered. And that guy challenged me that day, and I'm grateful because it's the very first time I was ever up on a platform in front of a group of people. Number 7 is to see things in others that they may not see in themselves. Sometimes people don't, like, we see people in a particular way, but they see themselves completely different. And it's our responsibility as upline leaders, people that are mentors to them, to help them see these qualities, these things that they have in themselves, so they can start believing it too. And it's amazing how many times as leaders that we've got to do that. But that's an important role and responsibility. And number 8 is to support, guide, mentor, provide assistance and clarity for people in our organizations. I didn't say to sponsor people on their team, to build it for them, but to be that guide, to be that person. And again, our job is never to build it for them, to be their boss or to be their babysitter, but instead to be that encouraging and supportive role model for those people on our teams. That's really kind of the roles and responsibilities of an upline leadership person or a sponsor. Now let's shift gears and talk about the roles and responsibilities of all affiliates, whether they're new or they're not, whether they've been around for a little while. Number 1 is to be accountable and to take full responsibility for your actions. That's something that we've got to do. Like the moment you sign and we don't sign it, but the moment you become an independent affiliate with MyDailyChoice, this is our business. We're independent affiliates, and it's not the sponsor's fault. It's not the company's fault. It's not the comp plan's fault, the product's fault, the timing's fault, the whatever's fault, which oftentimes people do is they like to put blame on everything else but themselves. And the truth is, being an entrepreneur, a solopreneur, where you build an organization here, requires a degree of personal responsibility and accountability where, we've got to be the person that steps up and shows up every single day. And I think that's, when I was thinking about, and I was putting this training together, I was like, that has to be number 1. Number 2 is to be resourceful. And what does that mean, right? To be resourceful. Well, if you don't know what the answer is, then you have to be resourceful enough to go seek out the answer. And by the way, your sponsor, your upline leadership person, that expert, they're not customer service, okay? They're not like, "Todd, where's the blah, blah, blah?" I mean, it's not like I won't help somebody like with a simple question, but what all of us have to do as independent affiliates is to be resourceful enough to go find the answer, to go look for it wherever, like if we don't understand something, or where do I find that, to go look for it. There's nothing wrong with asking questions. That's a big part of, and you'll see that actually coming up in one of my points, but being resourceful rather than sitting there like, "I just don't know. I'm not, I don't know the answer." I think that's an irresponsible position to be coming from, but being that resourceful person is super important. And this, to me, like when I look back at my network marketing career, is as great assets is to be curious and inquisitive, like always wanting to know. I think that's one of I think those are two of the greatest qualities that anyone can exhibit in this business, is just being curious and wanting to know, wanting to understand. And, we've all heard the phrase, ask and ye shall receive, seek and ye shall find. And I think sometimes people don't really understand what I call the power of the ask, right? Like for example, how do you know if somebody's open to taking a look at your business until you ask? We might look at somebody and they're like, oh, they got it all together. They're rocking in their life and they would never do a business like this. Well, how do you know until you ask? Or you're confused about something, or like, I don't understand this about the comp planner. Can you explain? Like if you ask, you're going to get. And I think that's another beautiful thing, as just in general for all affiliates, is, being that curious, wanting to know, inquisitive person that wants to understand, wants to get it, wants to comprehend it so they can get good at it. Number 4 is to be fully plugged in. Okay. And what do I mean fully plugged in? That means this is happening today, right? A person that's not fully plugged in is like, wait, there was a webinar today? I didn't know about that. Well, I don't know how you couldn't know about it, because you don't know about it because you're not plugged in. And so knowing when, like team Zooms are, or knowing your back office, like we have this new updated, amazing back office. Well, it's probably, and if not probably, it is your responsibility to dig in there, spend some time in there and poke around and look at some of the new stuff that's available to us, and to know when, our corporate, monthly webinar is, or when our event is, or whatever is, right? To be plugged in, because that's just, if you're not in, it's like you're, and the other phrase I use, and I use this on another training I did a couple months ago. Like if you're a part-timer, which a lot of people are part-time in this business, not yet their full-time occupation, to be part-time but fully engaged. Okay. What does that mean? Well, that means all the things a full-timer would know, but you're still doing part-time hours. So that we have a webinar today. We have another one on Thursday. When this is happening or that's happening. Because if you're part-time and barely engaged, you'll never get to full-time. But if you're part-time and fully engaged, then you're going to be able to get yourself into that full-time thing if that's something that you're looking for. Number 5 is to focus on RPAs every single day. This is the bottom line, where the rubber meets the road. This is it. This is really, truly all that matters. We can call it IPAs, RPAs, whatever works for you. Revenue producing activities, income producing activities. Well, Todd, what are those? Okay. Introducing somebody to our products, introducing somebody to our business, getting somebody through our tour, having them watch a video. That's the name of the game. That's what we do. Introduction of products and the different brands that we have, and introducing people to the concept of what we do here with My Daily Choice. That's the number one thing that we should be doing action-wise every single solitary day in this business. Every affiliate, regardless of rank, same thing. Number 6, to be in what I would call a purposeful and intentional growth mode. Okay. What does that mean? That means that you are growing you're growing your skill set, you're growing your attitude, your mindset, your beliefs, your abilities, your leadership skills, your selling skills, your prospecting skills, your communication skills, your speaking skills, your whatever skills that are required to be successful here. You're not just hoping to get better, which so many people do. They're just wishing and hoping that they're going to get better, but they're not working on getting better. Okay, I live on a golf course. It's snowing right now, so I'm not going to be playing golf this week. But if I want to get good at golf, I've got to, I have to practice, and I have to do intentional practice. I don't go out on the golf course and just whack a couple golf balls. I'm like focused on hitting the shot right, and set up and all the things that are, necessary to properly execute a golf swing, versus guys that I see have come up to the range and they're just swinging it, no thought into, what they're doing. They're just kind of going through the motions. And I think there's a big difference between purposeful and intentional growth versus just going through the motions. Number 7, I think it's great to be observant, to watch others, but not to just watch others, but to observe what other successful people are doing. Okay. One of the things I know this isn't proper English. I don't care. I've been saying this for years. Do what the doers are doing. Don't do what the don'ters are doing. In every company, there's doers and don'ters, right? There's people that are showing up, that are getting it done. And then there's other people that just simply aren't. And so I'm going to be observant. Sure, I'll observe the don'ter, and that'll realize what I don't want to do, sitting on the sidelines, making excuses, complaining, whatever they're doing. But then I'm going to observe the doers, and I'm going to watch what the doers, the producers, the leaders are doing. And I'm going to go, okay, I want to do that. I want to do it just like that. And that's how I began to create my initial success, was watching what other people are doing and doing my best to be replicating what they're doing. And number 8 is to be patient, right? You know, the phrase, Rome wasn't built in a day. Neither was a downline, right? A team is not built in a day. An organization takes time. Your skills take time to develop. Relationships take time. People take time. Teams take time to develop. And I think that if more people could come into this business, do the right activities, and exercise patience in the midst of doing those activities, things would be so much better for more people. Your role is to show up, absorb, learn, and apply. In the end, regardless of how good of a sponsor you have, it's your responsibility, your sole responsibility to make it happen. And we all know this phrase, and we always want to remember this. If it is to be, it is up to me, right? My sponsor's never here to, my sponsor, again, so we talked about the roles of the sponsor, the upline leadership position, and then the overall responsibilities of affiliates. Now, let's talk about working with your upline leadership and putting it into day-to-day action. Okay, first, I gotta start off by saying this: like, you probably know your sponsor because they sponsored you, okay? Or I mean, sometimes you barely know a person and they come in. Maybe it's like a cold market prospect or cold market lead or something like that, and you really don't know each other. Sometimes you bring somebody in that you're best friends with, and there's no, you don't have to do this, but I think it's really important to create this cohesive, cooperative team type of situation where we know each other. So I think the more familiar you are with one another, the more productive you're going to be in working together. And so, like, for example, when you enroll a new affiliate, you want to get them introduced to your upline leadership team immediately. Like, if I sign you up, and okay, you just signed up as a new affiliate. Boom. Great. Welcome to the team. Great. Let me get you introduced to this person, my sponsor. Let me get you introduced to this person, my sponsor. Let me get you introduced to this person, my sponsor, my sponsor. I think I got the numbers right. I just think it's beautiful. And me, the leader, or that individual who is upline from you, they love that. They want to know the people on the team. If you got somebody who's new, like, seriously, you're a new person just joined the team, and you called me to introduce this new person to help me welcome them to the team. How beautiful is that? I thrive on that. And I think most leaders definitely thrive on that. It's like, I can try to guess who's in the team, and I can certainly look at genealogy reports and all of that, but a genealogy report is not a relationship. So I think the more you get into this groove of, hey, look, I want to introduce you to my newest affiliate. And like, I have a new girl that I'm working with, that I've worked with for, known for many years, Rhonda, who's I'm sure on here right now. And I mean, she's done nothing but introduce me to people, all like the cohesive cooperative relationship that she and I've had for the last 3.5 weeks has been insane. I mean, it's been daily Zooms, 3-way calls, more Zooms. And she's, oh, I got to introduce you to my new person. I'm like, great. And me eager to get to know the person. Jeremy Reynolds, same thing. He did it yesterday or the day before, introduced me to this brand new person that he's got on the team. Leaders thrive on that. And just so you know, your upline expert or upline leader, and I notice I didn't say just sponsor, okay? It's not just the sponsor, the person that enrolled you. Every single person in that upline, that line of sponsorship has a financial vested interest in that individual succeeding. So, again, your upline expert can be the greatest marketing asset for you because they've got the background, they've got the experience, they've got the stories, they've got the success that can help drive that new potential affiliate towards making an intelligent decision for themselves. And this can be done in a lot of ways: 3-way calls, Zooms, group chats. These are the lifeblood of this cooperative relationship. Or if it's, I don't know, if you're in the hood, right, and you live in the neighborhood together, if you can do that in a meeting, that's great too, like one-on-one or two-on-one. A lot of what we do is building all over the planet, so that's not always available. But I'm just telling you, this right here, this relationship with connecting with people through 3-way calls, Zooms, and group chats is literally the lifeblood of growing a business. And this, to me, is the ideal path. and I say for most upline experts, helping their affiliates. Okay. This is you leveraging the upline talent, the upline experts. And I think most upline experts would probably agree with me here. That's why I underline most. So number one is what you're doing as the affiliate is to, pique the person's interest. Hey, I just launched this new business, or hey, we just launched this amazing new product that helps you save money on gas, get your car running better, and we got a business wrapped around it. Oh my God, what? Save what? Wait, what is that? Here, let me get you in front of this presentation. Get them through the presentation first. In other words, they are fully informed and very interested. Sometimes, look, and some people know this that have been doing this for a while, a person will call me with a prospect on the line, and the prospect has never even looked at the business, and they're trying to get me to sell the person on looking at the business. That's not my job. That's not the upline expert's job to try to sell your prospect on, why they should look at the business. The best role that we can play is you have an interested person that's gone through a presentation. They're informed. They've seen it, but they're interested, but they may have some questions. And then what I do at that point is, and this is so beautiful with, just the day and age that we're in. Look, I'm sitting here on the phone, with the prospect, and I can text while I'm on the phone with my prospect, talking to my prospect. I can text, and they've gone through the presentation. Like, man, this is really cool. How many brands do you guys have? I'm like, I can't even count anymore. We have so many brands. It's great. And he starts asking questions and he's showing interest. So I'm like, texting my upline, like, hey, I'm on the phone with this guy, John. John has a background in blah, blah, blah. He's a former firefighter. He did network marketing for 8 years before. He's been out of the game for a little bit. He just looked at our 25-minute video. Are you available? And this way, like, there's no guessing game. Like before, we had to play this guess game. Like, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that my upline was available. And sometimes they were, sometimes they weren't. That way I can throw a text message while I'm talking to the prospect and fill that upline expert upline leader in before I initiate the call. And they could say, look, yeah, I'm free now, or give me 2 minutes or give me 5 minutes. And then I know that I'm going to get 100% hit rate. In other words, I'm going to call my upline expert for some support, and I know that they're going to be there. Right. And that all goes all the way back to like that first thing, the roles and responsibilities that we have as upline leaders is being available. So then what happens, and just so you know, if it's a three-way call, I never ask for permission to do a three-way call. It's not up to the prospect to decide, in my opinion, whether I can bring somebody on the call or not. I control the call. If it's a call, right? I mean, if it's a Zoom, we'd have to like schedule a Zoom, which is fine. Hey, and I'll get into that. But the three-way call, I just say, John, can you hang on a second? He's like, yeah, because people do that all the time. And I just go grab my sponsor, and I already gave him the update. Hey, look, I got John. Are you ready? Bang, boom, flashback over. I'm like, hey, John, are you back? And he's like, yeah, I'm here. Hey, listen, I was just able to grab one of my business associates, one of the top earners in the company. He's one of our lead trainers. He's been in network marketing for 25 years. He da-da-da-da-da. This is called the edification process. You're edifying this leader to this person that already has some relationship with you. This is a necessary step in the process, is the edification of the leader. So you're not like overbuilding them up and like, oh, they've made $20 billion and they've got an organization of 87 million people or whatever. We want to, be honest and tell the truth. But, sometimes what happens, and this is why, especially with warm market, specifically with warm market, is like your friends love you. But, they've seen you dancing with a lampshade on your head in college or crazy stuff that you might have done. Maybe they don't trust your business decisions so much, but they're going to immediately have respect for a stranger. So what we do here is I do the introduction and say, hey, John, this is my friend. This is my expert, this person, this is my prospect, John. And then I shut my mouth. I do the introduction and I zip up my lips. That's what we do. Okay. I don't go, oh, John, don't forget to tell them about the customer acquisition bonus. Oh, hey, tell them about Fuel Factor X. Hey, because what you just did is you took this edification and you ripped the edification rug out from underneath them, because now you're interrupting. And I will tell you right now, this is how I learned to close. This is how I learned to do business. I worked with this guy, Ed. He was my upline. He just said, dude, here's the deal. Go out in the marketplace, put people in front of the information. The people that like what they see, that are interested, bring them to me. I was like, game. I'm like, you serious? He's like, yep. And I hammered him with more three-ways than probably anybody in his team at the time. And I would just like get interested parties. I'd say, hey, John, can you hang on a second? Boom. Hey, Ed, I've got John, blah, 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 blah. He does this background. He's looked at this, da, da, da. Boom. Flashback over. Hey, John, you back? Yeah, I'm back. Hey, John, listen, I was able to grab my business partner, Ed. Ed is one of the top leaders in this company. He's got one of the largest organizations. He's got a huge background in this business. And he's somebody that you're probably going to be working with should you decide to join the business. Anyhow, Ed meet John, John meet Ed. Lips go zipped, ears get turned on. And I'm like listening and taking notes. And see this role, the expert, the upline expert knows what to do. They're going to do their thing. Hey, John, great to meet you. You know, Todd said you had a chance to take a look at some information. Do you have any questions that I can address for you? Address his questions. You can then learn to address those questions in the future better because you've heard it a few times. He shares his experience, his story. Basically, he's helping take that person closer to making a decision, right? And oftentimes, and you guys have to understand this is done everywhere. It might not be done via three-way call, but every commercial that you see on TV, internet, magazines, newspapers, there is social validation in pretty much every commercial, every advertisement, everywhere. And that oftentimes is the thing that makes us buy those goods and services because we're seeing or we're learning or we're hearing from someone similar to us, someone who is like us, that's had this result, this experience, and we want the same thing. And they're like, wow, well, he looks like me. Oh, well, gee, okay. They have that result. Well, I want that result. So it's essentially, this really fulfills multiple roles in this experience. But I think that if you're not doing this, if this isn't a regular part of what you're doing, you're leaving so much money on the table. You make the introduction via three-way call. The Zoom is a little bit different because you'd have to schedule it. Or we can say, hey, can we, I can text a person, can we hop on a Zoom? But I think the cool thing about Zoom is we can look at each other, right? And I do a lot of three-way Zooms. And then you listen, you learn, and you earn, okay? And that's exactly what happens. So I think there's just magic in this type of relationship. I think this is something that people have asked me because I've been in network marketing for so long, like, how has network marketing changed in, the years that you've been here? I'm like, well, I don't really think it has changed. It's still the same business model. It's still, person to person selling, referral, somebody sharing something that they like with somebody else. The things that have changed are the bells and the whistles, the tools, right? We didn't have Zoom. We didn't have, at one point, long time ago, we didn't have three-way calling. We didn't have mobile phones that people had on their body 24/7. So, there's things that we have available that we didn't have, many, many moons ago. So so let's talk about leveraging your leadership for bigger production. Actually, let me go back to this for a second. Okay. I'm going to say this, the people on every team that I've ever built over the years, the individuals that did the most three-way calls or I would say mostly three-way calls, or we'll just call them third-party validation, whether it's call, Zoom, chat. You can do this three-way chat thing, for example, on Facebook, add somebody into a chat, and that's fine. And it works. I don't think it really fully replaces us communicating with one another because it's not really an interactive communication, right? I'm messaging you. You might read it, but then message me back 10 minutes later, or I might see it, but not have the time to. So it's not like this conversation that's able to take place in the present and the now. So I think there's definitely more value to the three-way call or the Zoom where we're actually present with one another than a three-way chat. A three-way chat will do, but it's not going to do as good as this kind of experience. And trust me when I say this, any good upline or any good leader or expert is going to thrive on this, okay? This is not about creating codependent people. I like the fact that I don't even have to check in on you because why do I need to check in on you? We've checked in with one another 4 times a day for the last 5 days doing three-way calls or doing Zooms. I already know you're in action. So how do we leverage this leadership for bigger production? Again, number one, and the reason I'm repeating myself is because this is so important. Third-party validation is numero uno. It's number one. And if you are not doing this on a regular basis, like trying to do it all on your own, and I think you're being foolish if you do that. And it's like, and the other thing is, oh, I don't want to bother my sponsor. I can't tell. I tend to, oh, how many times do I hear, well, Todd, you're so busy. I'm like, yeah, I'm busy helping people like you. And that's what I thrive on. I mean, I'm never too busy for you. There might be a time where we have to reschedule. I can't do it right this second, but this is what I spend my days doing. If I'm not in personal production, personal recruiting mode, it's incoming calls, incoming Zooms, scheduled Zooms from people on the team that are bringing new affiliates or new customers into the program. Number two, I think it's important with, especially when you haven't done a lot of presentations yourself or you're bringing in, you want to do a launch. I think it would be important to have them present for larger launches and let that expert do the work. I've done many of these where we have, in fact, Rhonda's done several Zooms with me in the past, 2 or 3 weeks where we've had, half a dozen, 6, 10, 12, 15 people on a Zoom at the same time. And she has me come in and share my story and give the presentation. And she's a very well-experienced network marketer, fully capable of doing it on her own, but she understands the value of that relationship between, members within that line of sponsorship. And that's where we get to this, again, repeating myself, this collaboration, this team effort, this working together, all doing the same thing, all have different roles and responsibilities depending on what role or responsibility we're playing at that time, the upline leader expert or the affiliate, but we all have the same roles and then working cohesively as a group. Number three, look, and I got to say this, when you got a problem or a challenge, the only place you go is upline. And I did not say, and I will make sure I'm clear on this, I did not say that your upline expert or leader is the customer service person that you can go complain to. They're not the complaint department, okay? They're not. And I get it. Sometimes things happen in every company, okay? I will say this. I know that Josh and Jenna do an absolutely epic and amazing job, but we're never going to be perfect as a company. There is no perfection in any company. There's always things that, happen. That's just life. That's business, okay? And we have to be mature enough and responsible enough and to realize and know that that's just the way life is. And sometimes there are challenges. Sometimes something gets broken in shipping or whatever, it gets cracked open or stuff happens or doesn't get shipped as fast as, we wanted it to or whatever it is, right? I mean, there's an argument between two people on the team or whatever it could be. I mean, I can sit here and lay out 87 different things that happen in growing an organization, but things happen. That's life. And so when things that aren't so good happen, the only place you go is up. You never go down. You never go down and say, oh, gosh, team, like the product didn't get shipped the day it was ordered, or even worse. And I've seen people do this. This is so dumb. Somebody goes into like my Facebook group and goes, oh, I had a customer that ordered the product and it didn't get shipped on time. I'm like, why are you bitching in my group? That's not the place to go. We have to all realize that we're all working together as one team. Okay. And that kind of stuff does damage to other people that end up being affected by something that's as silly as a product didn't get shipped that day because of whatever, and I'm just using this as an example. So when you got a challenge or a problem, by the way, if it can be addressed, if it's like a customer service thing, you don't go to your sponsor for that. Go check customer service or whatever. If you can't get it resolved, then come to your sponsor, but you don't go to the team. You don't go to even if it's your bestie buddy that you've known for years, who you put in the organization, and you call that person and, complain to them. Because here's the thing you have to understand, and I want you to all understand this. Being in momentum and being in growth mode is a very delicate position. And there's some, like a seed of doubt. Once a seed of doubt is planted with someone, it doesn't need fertilization. It does not need water. It does not need to be tended to. It just chokes. And so what we've got to do is in that leader role, because that's kind of like you're in a leadership role when you're doing that. Like, I got to make a decision here. I got a problem or I got a challenge. I need to get it addressed. And sometimes we need to get stuff addressed. You go up to get those challenges or things addressed, but also know that the upline leader or expert is not the complaint department. Okay. So there's got to be a little bit of balance there. Look, I got no problem, going upline and saying, look, can we get this handled? Or I got a problem with this or this, but I'm not like, but if it can be handled by a customer service agent, I'm going there first, right? Because their time is everyone's time is valuable. It's something we can never get back. And so working with the organization and knowing that everybody really, regardless of what role we're playing at that time, we want to be focused on revenue production, not customer service issues. That's why we have a customer service team, or that's why we have, a chat in the back office to get things that resolved there first. And if you have to go another step, then you do that. Number 4, and I think this is really important, you guys, is get your superstars on your upline's radar now. Okay. What does that mean? Well, like you got somebody 6 levels deep in your organization that's crushing it. I may know them. I may not know them. You better make sure that I know them. That's your job. Like if you know somebody is absolutely, whether they're personally enrolled by you or a couple levels down and they're blowing up a business, they're putting people in left and right. You're like, who is this person? Get yourself introduced if you don't already know them, and then get them plugged in and on your upline experts or leaders' radar. We want to know who those people are. Trust me, I guarantee there's not a single leader here. Like there's not one single leader on the Zoom today that's like, no, Todd, I disagree with that. No, we want to know who those people are. But don't assume that just because someone's crushing it in there that there's already a pre-existing relationship. Then, because now that I know who they are, that we've exchanged phone numbers, now I can play an actual more supportive role in helping that what I call a partially developed asset in an organization, really grow at a more extensive level. And then number 5 is make sure that you get your new affiliates plugged in. Okay. That's one of the first things that we do in bringing on a new affiliate is, we got to get them plugged in. Get them plugged into whatever you're getting them plugged into, your Facebook group, your team training, the back office, the upline leadership. You want to get those people plugged in, armed, ready to take action, not just, hey, thanks for signing up. Have a good go at it. That's probably not going to work out so well for most people. So we want to do our best to get people plugged in. And then number 6 is stay close to the fire. Okay. This is a phrase I've used for many years. I noticed Rob Sperry at our event a couple of weeks ago said the same thing. I love it. Close to the fire means you are, and the best way to do it is as a actual, fire analogy. If I'm out camping in the woods and it's 20 degrees outside and I'm not near a fire and it's 20 degrees outside, it's cold. But if I'm close to the fire, I'm warm. I'm like, oh, cool. I'm warming up. My bones feel good. I'm feeling good. I don't have the shivers. Close to the fire here is close to the fire. You're staying connected with the leaders, with the producers, with the doers, with the people that are making things happen. And that phrase, you become like those you hang around, is very accurate. If you want to be a complainer, hang out with a bunch of complainers. Guarantee you'll just be complaining all the time. You want to be a producer? You want to be a top ranked earner in this company? You hang out and spend as much time as you can surrounded by people that are getting it done. And that's always a choice that we have to make. And trust me, I know in every company, including ours, there are doers and there are people that aren't doing. Okay. And so I'm surrounding myself with the doers, with the people that are making things happen. Stay as close to the fire as you possibly can. And look, you should ideally never have to be checking in with your team members, especially when you've created this cooperative culture, right, of working with one another. I'm not saying I don't check in with people on the team. Certainly do. Actually sent one of my team members a text message this morning saying I haven't heard from him. But if you've got this cooperative working relationship, there would be no need to check in and see what's up or how it's going, because you guys are already working with one another. You already know, like, I don't need to check in with you. We did 17 three-way calls this week. Things are rocking. And I think that's just a magical, beautiful position to be in. And again, I think if I was going to say there's a theme for today's training in terms of that upline, downline, or that leadership, expert, sponsor, affiliate relationship, it's working with one another. And our job as leaders is not to go do the work for you, right? I'm not going to go do the work for you. I'm not going to build your team for you. You're going to go build your team, and I'm going to be that supportive role and helping you to figure it out, helping you to develop more confidence, helping you to feel better about what you're doing and how you're doing it. That's the role that we play. Again, we all have the same roles and responsibilities. I want to just finish with this. Again, I laid out those the two sections early in this training, the roles and responsibilities of the upline leadership person or sponsor. Okay. The roles and responsibilities of the affiliate, new or having been around forever. While we all have the same roles and responsibilities, we don't have different positions. We might have a different rank, big deal, but we all still do the same thing. It's creating that cooperative relationship where we're working together as a team as much as possible, where I'm helping you. You're bringing people in, you're bringing people to me. I'm helping you with your new prospect, helping them to understand this more clearly so that they can sign up, helping that new prospect that just joined, helping them get up and running. And I think it's, again, because we use and I don't know where this term, I don't know where this term came from. It came from somewhere. Somebody in network marketing said, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. I'm by myself right now. I got no team here with me. I mean, we're all on a, Zoom together. That's great, but we're not together all the time. So I think the more time you spend working with one another, the better off that you're going to be. You're just creating a more cohesive, cooperative, and productive environment. So anyhow, that's my training for the day. Mr. Baum, Chris Baum, thank you for having me. I see that you're still here. I appreciate you guys for being here today. And hopefully you will take action on this stuff and have an amazing and epic week.
Awesome. I love it, Todd. Thank you so much. As always, appreciate your time hopping on here, sharing what you do and what you see work and what you know works. So truly appreciate it. And thank you, each and every one of you, for taking the time, jumping on here and getting some words of wisdom from the one, the only Todd Falcone. Appreciate you all. You guys have a phenomenal week. And Todd and I will be back here on Thursday. So until then, be safe, get those enrollments, do what Todd says. All right. We'll see you, everyone.